Hello everyone. We will explain you about determining business opportunity from innovation and campus creativity. We are from Group 7 and our member are Villa Adorumatasari and Imanina Fitri Rahmawati. Here we will explain you about developing business idea and factor causing entrepreneurial failure. Let's start with the first session. Develop business idea. Six stages to develop business ideas. A small business must follow certain process and procedure to ensure the business is developed properly. Each stage of the development process requires attention and extreme detail. The business owner must follow the process from idea to launch and adhere to strength and standard along the way. To increase the chance of business success, the business owner should require proper preparation and develop at all stage. The first stage is creation. Brainstorming is the key to concept creation. You must also keep track of all the idea that are generated. All this At this point, all the idea will be varied and potentially relevant. You must then review each idea to determine its appropriateness. Evaluate each idea and determine which one is most valuable and will generate the most profit. The second step is assessment. Concept assessment involves market research where information about your idea is collected and analyzed. It's essential for a small business owner to conduct market research to determine whether the concept is viable. The owner must understand his target market, what the market needs and it's looking for, and what market is willing to pay for the product or service. You must assess all aspects of the idea before moving on the next steps. Step 3 is planning. You must create a true business plan. Within your business plan, you must clearly identify your business goals. Provide information about your balance sheet, income statement, and cash flows. All well-defined business plan will steer the business in the right direction and will increase the chance of having a successful product launch. The fourth step is development. During this stage, you'll take your concept and put it into concert form. You will develop a prototype of your product that you can offer to the market. You should also create manufacturing and operation process plans for your marketing launch and your marketing testing plans. Step 4 is testing. This is stage involve a test market that is as close to a real market situation as possible. You will release your prototype into the public marketplace. Your prototype is tracked and your market test result should confirm that is a valid idea to move forward as a product. And the last step is launch. A successful product launch should address whether the appropriate number of products exists, whether you have correctly planned and execute your market activities, whether all of the appropriate documentation have been developed, and whether your employees are properly trained and ready to support the product. Next, I will tell you about 10 great ways to generate business idea. Great business idea all around you. You just open yourself to the possibility and you're born to win a winner. To start your research for that drop dead idea that's going to set the world on fire, start with the following source. Here we have some source that is from cult marketing guru Alaris, chairman of Roswell, Georgia, based marketing strategy firm Rice and Rice, and co-author with Laura Rice of 22 Immutable Law of Branding, and business trend Richard Perillo, professor of marketing at Bentley College in Waltham, Massachusetts, And this can be the first step in your search for the business your dreams. First is start with your family. Tapping family for a great business idea may not seem like an obvious first step. Sure, you'll hit them up for quests once you develop your idea. But what can your aging father or cousin Margaret contribute this early in the process? Bluntly. For example, Donald Trump certainly was not peaceful about learning the real estate business from his dad, Fred, who ran a thriving real estate development company, Series. Trump had the good sense to get some specialist training because going off to become one of the country's foremost builders and real estate developers. If his father had provided the foundation and training he needed to create a profitable business, Trump will be there here is today. Unfortunately, many people insist on creating business themselves without any help from their family. That is foolish. Next is get a help from your friends. Research that you are severely limiting yourself if you rely solely on your own idea, especially when your creative juice runs dry. This is reason enough to listen to idea others may have. If you have 15 or 20 friends, chances are a couple of them have some incredible business idea. If it weren't for Steve Jobs' good friend Steve Wozniak, there would be no Apple computer today. Jobs didn't know anything about computer. Wozniak, on the other hand, was the computer genius who developed the first Apple. Jobs has an eye for great business idea and saw the marketing potential for developing a new type of computer. The important lesson is to keep your antenna up at all times so you can retrieve your good idea when you stumble across them. Right? Instead, you can make more money recognizing someone else's idea than creating one yourself. The third is look at the things that bug you. It might not sound profound, but Ray said this is fertile ground for great business idea. He states how upset Clemens Wilson was in 19th century when a motel owner wanted to charge him an additional price for each of his 5 children. He was so taken off. He locked Memphis, Tennessee's Holiday Inn, today one of the world's largest hotel chains. If Kingsley Kellage hasn't been fed up with the tedious process of sharpening his straight-edge razor, he would not have founded the massive disposable razor industry. When he took his idea for a portable razor with a blade that could be used several times to a research university for assistant, engineers questioned his sanity. Chile followed his instinct and rest is history. The fourth is tap your interest. Dozens of clever people have taken up hobbies and turned them into a successful business. Tim and Nina Zagat will launch the Zagat Survey, a publishing empire that sells restaurant guides for many major of US and Europe cities are great example. In the early 1970th century, the Zagats were high-priced corporate attorneys whose passion was dining out. For fun, they created a newsletter in which they asked their friends to rank popular restaurants in several categories. Each year, the newsletter encompassed more restaurants. Eventually, it became such an expensive and time-consuming undertaking that the couple began charging money for it to allay their expense. That was the manager beginning of the Finite Saga survey, which is sold in bookstores worldwide. When you're doing something you love, it's never considered to work. It is salaries. Next is travel. Traveling opens your eyes to a plethora of potential business ideas. Royce says Leopold Fernandez Pujols' discovery of Domino's Pizza on a trip to the United States from his native Spain. Pujols was so impressed with the fast food operation. He went back to Spain and launched his own version called Telepizza in 1986. His company now registers about 2016 million US dollar in sales and employs 13,000 people in 8 countries. Six is keep your open eyes. When you see something that piques your interest, ask yourself, what is it about this situation that's special? Then narrow your focus so you home in on the idea. The process of zeroing on the idea often spawns important niche market. Blockbuster video niche is renting videos, and Boobs Unlimited Nice is selling like boobs series. Do you get it? The seven, examine it all bootstrap and then build a better one. If a product doesn't meet your own high standard, create a better one. Advice business trend watcher Verillo said that. That was what put and Ben and Jerry on the map. Ice cream fanatic Ben Cohen and Jerry Greenfield felt popular ice cream were rice and tasty enough for their cultivated palates, so they created their own super premium line of ice cream, which is a bestseller nationwide. Just think, if their ice cream guru weren't such picky eaters, there would be no cherry Gracia, chubby hubby, or Paris food to enjoy. The egg is take it to the streets. There's no better place to lock up and coming trends than city streets. Lowy content. Street culture spanning punk, hip hop, grunge, and a number of other foods that rapidly evolved into multi-million dollar business. Great idea can often be found by just browsing happening in our city neighborhood in a virtual any big city in the United States. This is say low. The net is sleep on it. Many people ignore their dreams and some don't remember them at all. But sometimes it's pay to listen those inner message. No matter how strange or unintelligible they are, you never know. You might just find them germ of the great idea. The talk part is crawling out of bed in the dead of night to jot down this great idea before they're forgotten. And the last is go online. Finally, Law endorsed web surfing as a fun way to log into potential business ideas. Make it a point to check out various sites daily. It might trigger an idea or concept you never thought of. So you can search any daily problem or daily what people want to do here in from internet and it can develop your business idea. Next will be explained by my friends.
The next material is the factors causing entrepreneurial failure. Not all business can be succeed. Sometimes, entrepreneur gets struggle or problem that make the business stuck or, in the worst case, fail. Obviously, there are some factors that cause the failure. But, what is failure? Cope, in 2011, stated that failure represents one of the most difficult, complex, and yet valuable learning experiences that entrepreneurs will ever have the unfortune to engage in. Thus, venture failure is an important concept to understand in entrepreneurship, both in terms of its causes and consequences for the individual entrepreneur, organizations, and society at large. The factors that make business or entrepreneurship fail are divided into two categories: internal factors and external factors. Internal factors consist of individual and organization problem, while external factor consists of environmental problem. On the other word, internal factors are factors, those decisions or actions are under management's control. External factor are events that are outside of management's control. Now, what is the problem that are categorized as internal factor? The first factor in internal factor is managerial incompetence or poor management. The failure of the management to be able to ensure that problems are identified promptly and the correct solutions applied, so as to give the company the best possible change of survival and growth. It is connected to the manager's decisions and behaviors, and the way he conducts his enterprise. The next internal factor is not finding enough of the right kind of funding. Entrepreneurs often fail because they cannot raise the right kind of funding at the right time, at the right valuation. They use too much of their own money and way too much money from friends and family. Entrepreneurs fail because they do not know how to value their company or phase investments along timelines designed to optimize valuations. They fail to appreciate how much money it takes to meet milestones, or how to respect their investors who deserve professional communications on a regular basis, especially if they plan to keep asking them for money. The next internal factor is the problem of relations with the partners. Entrepreneurs often fail because they hang out with the wrong people. Wrong here is a broad term. It includes colleagues who agree with everything the entrepreneur says, good guys that others endorse, but are unfamiliar to the entrepreneur. Channel partners who use the entrepreneur to channel their own sales, legal counsel that rack up unnecessary fees, and gurus that know just about everything about anything. Good entrepreneurs have a purpose filter, through which they pass their time. Is this partner really worth my time? Entrepreneurs who fail do not have this filter. The next factor is overconfidence and excessive risk-taking tendency. While it's sometimes good to believe in miracles, it's no way to run a startup. Entrepreneurs who fail often do so because they believe they will change the world, and if the world doesn't welcome their authority, it's the world's fault, not theirs. Entrepreneurs fail because they're often self-delusional and greedy, believing that they're just a sail away from revolutionizing an industry and becoming filthy rich. Not knowing who is the next factor of internal factor causing entrepreneurial failure. Entrepreneurs often fail because they cannot separate friends from enemies. They cannot identify ink from fluff or bluff. They cannot find a good part-time accountant, and they have no idea how to assess the skills and experience of legal counsel. They also fail because they cannot recognize smart, loyal co-founders and employees, or how to optimize their contributions. They fail because they cannot separate dumb angel investors from disciplined ones. There's a lot to know, and many entrepreneurs just don't know enough about the players. Lack of critical information and mentoring is also one of the internal factor causing entrepreneurial failure. Entrepreneurs often fail because they cannot adapt to unpredictable events and conditions, as if any entrepreneurial events or conditions are predictable. All startups require pivots. Unsuccessful entrepreneurs cannot pivot. Instead, they stay their own courses, even when the entire world believes they are severely off course and about to crash into the side of a large mountain. This situation can be prevented by searching for critical information and mentor, so that the problem that might be happened in the future can be predicted before. The next internal factor is horrible soft skills. Entrepreneurs often fail because they are not housebroken, because they speak their minds, no matter how inappropriate or inopportune the situation may be. Some entrepreneurs are famously outspoken and controversial, but they generally became that way after their first hit startup. If an entrepreneur cannot listen, is insecure, short-tempered, and intolerant of opposing opinions, he or she will fail. The worst entrepreneurs are the ones who cannot accept responsibility for anyone, and spend their days and nights looking for someone to blame for their mistakes. The last internal factor is no sense of the inevitable exit. Entrepreneurs often fail because they cannot gauge their ultimate exit relatively early in their journey. Call it instinct or judgment, the range of exit outcomes begins to reveal itself once the products and services hit the market, and once the source and pace of competition clarifies. Is the exit an IPO or an acquisition? Is it an ACTA or a recapitalization? Good entrepreneurs have a sense of how an exit will occur, if one occurs at all, within a year of their launch. Bad ones believe in miracles. The next factor of entrepreneurial failure is external factors. The external factors consist of the economic conditions, changes in the policies of the government, and unexpected unlucky events. Like it has been mentioned before, the events are outside of management's control. For example, the new regulation about import and export can make a business fail. The pandemic can make sellers lose their customer. Younger firms fail more often due to internal causes, like operational management problems, inexperienced and incompetent management, and different management failures, while mature firms fail largely due to external causes, like environment, competition, and demand. Immature firms fail due more to their lack of experience or limited resources. Successful young firms often fail due to a lack of financial resources. They explained this situation by the mistakes made by the inexperienced managers, rather than the managerial incompetence. Mature firms are more likely to fail due to changes in their environment, which their rigid routines are unable to adjust to. So, that's all for our material. Type your question in the discussion forum on Classroom. Thank you. For the last word, you know it's time to venture out on your own. But what to do? Find the business of your dreams with these ideas.